think we should be live in a second here. Give me a second. We're live. Shariah, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm excellent. I said your name properly?
You did. Thank you. Because,
I was gonna come with Miss Gray, but I said let me come Shariah.
You threw me off a little bit with the Shariah, but you said it right, which is great.
Okay. Well, that's good. Now, who are you and where are you from?
Well, my name is Shariah Gray. And where I'm from is kind of a hard question because I'm from a lot of places. I was born in Oklahoma. I grew up in Detroit. I went to college in Virginia, and now I live in California.
Okay. What part of Cali?
Central Valley in Fresno.
Okay. Now, what's your take on Black people being killed by the police?
So let me tell you. So I started right before. No, I had been putting out math lessons. And then when the George Floyd thing happened, I felt like a lot of different emotions. And I was just like, I don't feel comfortable just continuing to put these math lessons down people's throat when there's a much bigger issue going on. Mm-hmm. So I took a break for probably the last 3 weeks to think about what I can do for how I can protest in my way, in my own way, Mm-hmm. Right. But right. I don't feel good about it. I've been trying not to say too much because I am still a teacher and trying not to say not enough because a lot of my students look up to me and they know that I'm how I feel about this, but I can't say a lot. But from what I can say is it's all messed up. I mean, this is how Black people have been living for years. And it's good that people are finally, and by people, I mean, not Black people, are finally realizing it and they're stopping the turning eye that just, it's not happening to us. So we won't worry about it. But now it's in your face. So now you can't ignore it.
Right. Now you're a teacher. What grade level?
I teach high school.
Okay. Now what's the racial breakdown of your students?
Oh boy. Okay. So California has a lot of Hispanics. My school is about 60% Hispanic, about 25 to 30% African American, and then the other 10% is Hmong, Lao, the Asian cultures. And I don't think, and then less than 1% is Islanders or Native American, but mostly Hispanics, and then it's the Black people.
Okay. Now, have you been getting a lot of people reaching out to you saying, hey, I don't know what it's like to be Black, but I want to offer my sympathy or empathy? I've been getting a lot of that. How's that been with you?
Honestly, so I feel two ways. I actually had a friend that we went to school together out here when I was getting my master's with me because, she told me straight up, I'm a white girl from the country and I don't want to be I want to be culturally aware because she teaches our kids.
Yeah.
So we had this discussion and she said, what can I do as somebody that's not a person of color to better teach my children or our students? And I told her, I was there's multiple things. One, you need to be culturally responsive. And the way that the school system is designed for Black children, we have to keep that in mind because you'll say we have a zero tolerance policy for fighting, but Black kids fight for fun. Or you have a zero tolerance policy for yelling, or you have a policy about being loud, but you won't suspend kids who aren't Black for being loud. You'll give them chances, or you won't give Black kids chances. Right. And I feel what it is, I was telling her that we have to stop putting our Black children on such a short leash and then getting them out of the classroom, because then this is how you set up that prison to pipeline situation with the school system, because everyone else gets all these chances. How come Black kids don't?
Right, exactly. Now, is there anything you're going to do different going forward in light of the recent events?
I've been pretty vocal before. I think what I'm going to start doing now is a lot more, I don't know what to call them, but What is that? Jane, you know who Jane Elliott is? Is that her name? Jane Elliott? Okay, so
Yeah.
you know the blue-eyed activity that she did with the kindergartners? She said all the kids, she assigned the kids color, like eye colors. And she said, all right, if you have blue eyes, you get to go outside for extra 5 minutes, but everybody else got to stay inside for the whole lunch. And then you had the kids with the brown eyes and the green eyes saying, well, that's not fair. How come they get to? Oh, because they're different. They look different. So they get to have something extra. And she was trying to tell the kindergartners, like, this is what people are going through in life right now.
Right.
And then she did another experiment older, and she had like given the kids like, okay, you're this person, you're this person. She said, all right, if you're this person, like, you don't get to talk, you don't get to do anything, you just sit here. So one girl had got up and walked out, and Jane Elliott, she started going off, and she was like, you don't get to walk out and leave, because once you walk through those doors, you get to go back to being white. Black people don't get to walk out the doors and go back to being anything, because we treat them differently 100% of the time. But I want to start doing stuff like that in my classroom, like, would you rather do this or this, and like open up discussion that I can lead into what's really going on, not just like the shootings, like all of that is happening, but let's get to like the mental of what's really going on. Because a lot of it is what we can't see.
Exactly.
Have you seen that little iceberg picture where like the top of it, you can see it, and then you look underwater, it's like all this other stuff. I'm talking about all the other stuff. Let's deal with all that other stuff.
Right. Yeah, I saw that today. Okay, well, sorry to start you off kind of heavy, but
I'm good.
I'll hit you with something that I haven't hit anyone with yet. But so, why did you choose an HBCU?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm almost ashamed. So when I was younger, both my parents went to HBCUs. They went to Grambling State. That's where they met. That's how they end up being together. But I didn't know a lot. I just knew they both went to HBCUs, and they didn't really like push it on me. They're just like, oh, we went to this school. It was like a normal school. When I got older, I started realizing that a lot of my family members went to HBCUs, like Alcorn State, Texas A&M, Jackson State, Norfolk State, Hampton, Howard, Spelman, all these schools that my family members went to. And I'm like, well, how come nobody was like telling me this growing up? And then when it came time for me to apply, I went to this, it was like a gallery walk, but there was a whole bunch of HBCUs there. You could apply to all of them with no fee. So I applied at A&T, I applied at Central, I applied at Norfolk State, I applied at Virginia Union, Virginia State, all these places. And I applied at Old Dominion, which is another school in Norfolk, but it's not an HBCU.
Right.
And I really wanted to be in Norfolk. And then I kept telling myself, I want to go to ODU. I want to go to ODU. And I went to go visit Norfolk State. One of my friends' campus. You know, you just walk on the campus and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I just knew. Like, as soon as I got there, I was like, what am I thinking trying to go to a different school? I need to be here. So I actually ended up going to Norfolk State, and she ended up going to the other school, which was wild after all of that. But that's how it happened. I mean, as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, these are my people.
Right.
I have to be here.
Right. Now, how was your experience?
Long. It took me 8 years to get my college degree. Now, let me preface this. I had a lot of like pushback. I got a lot of shade, It's supposed to take 4 or 5-ish and all this other stuff. But I went to Norfolk State to take my math placement test. And I knew I wanted to be an education major, but I didn't know if I wanted to teach math or German. So
why German?
I took it in high school for 3 years, and I really enjoyed it. And I know that German is the language of most millionaires. Most millionaires are of German descent, and their ancestors speak German. So I felt it to myself. I told myself that I was going to learn to be in these rooms with these people. But math works too.
Right.
So I took to the math department.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I went to the math department, and Miss Hedgepeth, she doesn't work at Norfolk State anymore, but she told me, she was like, hey, you should just major in math. Don't even worry about it. We have a math education program. She's like, you can do this, you can do this. She made it sound real good. I ended up majoring in math ed. and it was really good to start. I ended up stepping, so they have like the dorm step shows at Norfolk State. They probably don't do it now, but they had dorm step shows. So I ended up stepping for like the freshman dorm. And then that was my freshman year. My sophomore year, I ended up joining Iota Phi Theta as a sweetheart.
Okay.
And
what do you have to do to become a sweetheart at Iota Phi Theta? What's the process like?
Nothing about auxiliaries. So I'm here to like put all that shit to rest. Like it's not anything like that. Really, like I've been through situations where I only had my brothers that were Iotas and they were really there for me. Yeah. Like to this day, we have been like this. A lot of them have kids now. Like we've been back and forth even though I moved. And being in Iota really let me go to a bunch of other HBCUs because we would go on like step show tours or homecoming tours. Like go to Howard, go to Michigan State, Hampton, and all that other stuff. And we became really close with all these people that were in the organization. Whether it's I realized that the best friends I've ever had in my entire life came from Iota in some kind of way. I don't even know how it worked out. So there was that. And one of my professors, who goes by Dr. Fitzgerald now, she submitted my name into this Thurgood Marshall College Fund internship and didn't tell me. So I got like an email that was like, "You've been accepted." And I was like, "What the hell is this?" So she sent me an email, was like, "Hey, by the way, I submitted your name to this internship. Let me know if you get accepted." I was like, "Oh, I just got an email saying I was accepted." But it was right. It was a really good program. I did it for 5 years. So for like every summer after then. And I ended up meeting a whole bunch of people, which is how I ended up in Fresno, because they had a career center. So when I was talking to them, they were like, "We need teachers, and we're looking for Black teachers, and we're looking for Black teachers from HBCUs." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And 2 of my friends already lived here. So I was like, "All right, I'll do that." So I knew I was going to move. And, you know, I feel like the thing about HBCUs is, or college in general, is like you have this like mental break somewhere in there and you have to like really get your life together and like really deal with your stuff. And I had to pass the teaching test and I kept failing it by 1 point. Like it was really like messing with me. Like I took it like 8 times and I kept failing it by 1 point. So at 1 point, I just changed my major to just math. And then finally I graduated in 2018 and then I moved to California. Long story, but.
And your actual degree is what?
Applied mathematics.
Applied mathematics. Okay.
Yeah.
So how can a business or organization Okay. So how can a business or organization benefit by having someone with a degree in applied mathematics on the team?
Let me tell you. So I tell my students all the time, if I didn't want to teach anymore, I could quit this job and have a new one tomorrow. All the time, because my job is nothing but solving problems, and every business has a problem.
Yeah.
If you think about it, my degree is all about problem solving, thinking critically, and being able to analyze information. That's what I don't know, the news station and become an analyst or become an actuary for an intern or an insurance company. Or anything. I always say I wanted to be a meteorologist later down the line sometime, and I could still do that, which is why I decided to keep that math degree, because I knew I would be able to do a whole bunch of stuff with it.
Right. Did math come natural to you when you were young?
No. So my mom and my dad used to make me calculate tip. Like when we go to restaurants, my dad would be like, what's 6% tip? And let me use a computer or a calculator. So I'd do it in my head. Right. So I just got really good at that. And then my mom used to make me find the sales tax, like, or the discount on clothes. It's like we'd go to the store and they'd be like, it's 35% off. How much am I going to pay? So like that became natural. But then once they started bringing in letters, I was confused because that didn't make sense to me. But I ended up having a really good teacher who took me literally outside to the track and showed me that math is real.
Right.
Like, quite literally. So from then on, I was like, oh, this is easy. Like math really is right in front of us everywhere we go. And ever since then, which was about 9th grade, then it became easy for me.
Okay. Now, what's the key to being good in math? Is it a natural ability? Is it practice? Is it having good teachers? Is it having parents that have you try to figure out sales tax? What's the key?
I would say that the key is in yourself. So people always try to say, like, you have to have a good teacher or you have to have parents that are on you. Like, it's yourself, because all of math is you being able to do something yourself. Like I tell my students all the time, if you can't tell me how you got this answer, then I'm going to assume you cheated. Like, I need you to justify each and everything, because with being able to justify your answers, I'm teaching you how to effectively communicate. So I have to, like, it's got to be within you. If a student comes in with me and they're like, I don't like math, I'm like, okay, listen, I'm gonna ask you to just give me a chance to change your mind and change your it is. And every year at the end of the school year, my students say it wasn't even that hard. Yeah, because you just you opened yourself up. Just open yourself up a little bit and let me get in there, and then we're gonna be all right.
You're right. That makes sense. So when people say I'm never going to use calculus in life, what is your response?
Oh, my students hate asking me that. So I go on rants. I will go on a rant because they'll say, okay, well, I don't use math when I do this or this. And I tell them, like, yes, you do. You do it here, here. And then they get so upset because I always have an answer for them. So go ahead. Ask me something. Go ahead.
So I'm solving for X. I understand. Calculus 1, calculus 2. When am I going to use that with HBCU grad and trying to push this as the #1 HBCU community on the internet? How can I use calculus?
Well, calculus is nothing but the math of change. So if you are trying to accrue followers, accrue subscriptions, you're going to be looking at the analytics of your data to see how and when you can implement different things so that you can get more followers. For instance, on your Instagram, you might make a post that's 100, you get 100 likes. You do another post and it gets 5,000 likes. You're going to more likely do with the 5,000 likes. Now, granted, you're not using like formulas and stuff because Instagram is doing it for you, but that's calculus because you're calculating the change and how I can get from this many followers to this many followers. And the formulas, that's all in the coding. I mean, you're not doing it per se, but you are doing a form of it by analyzing that information.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's pretty good. Maybe if my teacher would explain that to me, I would have done better in calculus and calculus too.
I understand. You know? Calculus is hard. It's hard. I understand.
Right. It is. Now, why did you start a YouTube channel to help people with math? Did you see students having a problem with it? Did you see a void in the marketplace? You know, what made you want to start a YouTube channel?
Well, about 5 years ago, one of my best friends, he and his girlfriend started a couples YouTube channel. And I was like, I want to start a YouTube channel. Didn't know what I wanted it to be on. I just knew I wanted to start one, but I didn't want to just start it. Like I wanted it to be like put out as good quality. And then I started to think like the only thing I really love is math. And it's something I'm really good at teaching. So let me just YouTube some random math videos. And the only thing that pops up is white men. White men, yeah. Indian men, or Indian women. And I'm like, where are the black people at? So I was like, I want to make a channel that somebody who is like a Title I school or an inner city kid can look at it and say, okay, so first of all, I'm going to watch this video because she looks like me.
Right. Yeah.
And thirdly, I'm going to watch this video because now that I understand the first two things and I've opened you up, now you're more susceptible to being inspired and allowing me to change your mindset. Because I really don't want people to continue this facade like, oh, math is hard. Like I was never good at it. No, you just have to just watch my video and I guarantee you that you will learn something. And if you don't learn something, my motto is always, well, then shoot, I don't know what to tell you. Because I'm pretty much like the baseline of a communication and understanding. And if you can't get that one, then I don't know what to tell you, boss. But I really just saw a need for a Black woman in mathematics. My students, they don't like learning from nobody else. Like they don't like talking to other teachers. So I needed something that was accessible to them. When COVID started, I was like, oh, well, I don't have nothing else to do. Might as well record some videos. And then that's pretty much how it all came to fruition. 1,500 views right now. I've been interviewed by ABC 30, KC24, multiple podcasts. I actually have something special coming soon that I'll tell at the end of this interview. I've done teacher conferences. My teacher union has interviewed me. So it's really like picking up, but it's really not for anything but letting parents, teachers, and students learn math in a way that makes sense. That's all it's about.
How do you land those interviews?
Honestly, they come out of nowhere. So I posted the trailer and I sent it to everybody in my school district, like was kind of low key, like blasting them. And then on Instagram, like I was sending it to a whole bunch of people. I got blocked on Instagram for a little bit from commenting. Like it was a lot, but it worked out at the end because certain people started to get it. So they started emailing me and they're saying, hey, can we do an interview? Want to do a story on you? I did a minute thing for one of the news channels out here where I made ice cream in a bag.
Okay.
I did multiple interviews. That's pretty much, they've been coming to me. The only person that I have reached out to was you. You're my first reach out in
Right. That's awesome.
response.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Now, Henry wants to know, where did you earn your degree from?
From the Norfolk State University, the Institute of Choice in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
Behold.
Okay, good. Now, if you don't get blocked on Instagram, that means you're not going hard enough. So
that's what I'm saying.
You're doing the right thing.
Blocked a few times.
Cool. Right. That's awesome. So what's next for you?
Well, I just recently filed the Black-Matician as a nonprofit. So I'm in the process of, thank you. I'm in the process of getting an EIN number because a lot of people have been wanting to donate for my production, for video production. During the school year, I run a class store. So a lot of people have been like, can I give you stuff for your class store? Can I donate money so you could buy things? And I also do tutoring virtually. So I either do I do free to all that stuff. As soon as I get the EIN, I'm going to start blasting famous people so they can get those tax write-offs for these donations. Right. And that's pretty much where I'm headed. I'm just going to keep making more videos. I want to be consistent with that. So I don't want that to fall down just because I have all these press interviews and all that stuff. But that's pretty much where I'm going. I want to use these videos during the school year. So I'm pretty dedicated to doing this, and I have nothing else to do.
Do you document any of your lessons, or are you allowed to?
In the classroom?
Yeah.
I don't document them for myself. Sometimes like an instructional coach will come in and record.
Okay.
And, my students sign a media release the first day of school with me because I record my classroom for like behavior problems and behavior reasons.
Oh, wow.
But which, if anybody that's a teacher is watching, that is a great idea, and make the student and the parent and you sign it so that when they start acting a fool, I'll be like, let me show your mama this video of you acting a fool.
That is smart.
But no, I don't normally record my lessons in class, but I do want to start doing like a vlog series of me at school, just so people could see like how my normal everyday life is.
Right. Okay. You know what we started to do? We started to transcribe some of our audio content, and we use rev.com.
Okay.
And they do it for like 10 cents a minute if you want to do it mechanically. If you want a real person to transcribe it, it's $1 a minute, and that can give you some stuff for a blog, and it's really dope. So we kind of look at video. So since you're already producing video content is that top pillar. And then that video content, you can you can rip the audio and turn that into a podcast, and then you can take that audio and transcribe that into written words, and now you got that for a blog. So just off one video, it turns into 3 pieces of content, and we started doing a lot of that. And so, but you already have so that you can have like one piece of content that turns into a bunch of pieces of content. So that's something that may be pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Actually, my videos have changed a lot from the first one to the one I just recently put out. But I started like clipping. So like I'll do like the full video where it's like I'll tell a story and then a story of my real life and how it relates to math, and then I'll tell a lesson. And I've started like clipping the lesson to be its own video because some people don't want all the extra stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just try to have 2 parts of the same thing.
Henry also said that's helpful. Do you keep a log of your lesson plans too?
I do. So I'm actually teaching a new topic this year. So I don't have lesson plans made yet, but on my website, which I'll include my website in a second. My website, there is a tab that has all my lesson plans. So when I start putting them and making them, I'll upload them to the site so that other teachers could come in and they could steal my lesson plans, do whatever you want with them.
Right. That makes sense. Now, what else did you want to share that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, 2 things.
You said you had a secret that you were going to.
I do have a secret. I do have a secret. I don't know if you're ready for the secret, though.
I'm ready. I'm ready for anything.
Okay. So just recently, I received an email that I will be awarded the Heroes for Change Award for Radio Disney.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes.
That sounds like a big deal. How did you win that?
No idea. ABC 30, the anchor that interviewed me, she sent my information to Radio Disney. So they emailed her back and said, hey, can we get in contact with her because we want to put her on our Arties, which is their radio wants you to be a part of this. And since COVID, we can't have the actual award show, but if you can record something and send it to us, we'll put it in our award show for, all these kids to see. Radio Disney is like the #1 radio network in America. So I've been really on that. That video is going to come out soon. I'm not sure when the Arties is. She hasn't told me, but I'm going to submit my video to her in a couple of days. And that's pretty big for me. And hopefully from there, if anybody would like to produce this show for me, produce the Black-Matician, please, I am inviting you. Netflix, Hulu, HBO, PBS.
Right.
Revolt.
Now, how can people get in touch with you?
So I am on Twitter as @Black-Matician. They wouldn't let me put there wasn't enough characters. IG, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, and Teacher Pay Teachers are all @The Black-Matician. And then my website is theblackmatician.weebly.com, which is where you can find all that information.
Wait, so the website is what?
theblackmatician.weebly.com.
The black.weebly.com.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what are we going to see on that? What are we going to see on there?
Well, when you go onto my website, the first thing you're going to see, I actually just recently changed it. You're going to see a quote and then all the features. And then in the menu with the tabs, I actually use this website for both the Black-Matician and my actual classroom and school situation. So there's like a tab for parent-teacher conferences. There's a tab for the YouTube channel, like current students. If you want to donate, it's on there. If you want to sign up for tutoring, it's on there. And if for anybody that wants to contact me, that's also there. So that's everything is there. And if you could think of anything else, I can add it. Just let me know. I also, like I said, I do a classroom economy. So I have like a classroom store. So all of that is on there too. Because a lot of times people ask me like, how do you do a classroom economy or stuff like that? Do you know what a classroom economy is?
I don't.
It's basically when students come into my class, Grayland, and every seat in this room is my land, and you have to pay rent. If you decide that you don't want to pay rent, then you can stand and be homeless, but you do have to pay $250 a day to survive and eat.
Wow.
You
and
make money. Yeah, they earn money by good behavior and good grades. Once their grades fall below a certain percentage, which is normally like a 70, all the money in their account, regardless if it was $300, is gone. Because if you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
So like I spend I'm spending a lot of time like putting it together, but one of my other passions is financial literacy. So my students really need to know, like, okay, like y'all are 16, 17, and like 2 years y'all about to be in the real world, and some of y'all had never had a bank account before, and that's scary. So I'm trying to teach y'all this is really important. Like I really need y'all to understand that I'm teaching you real life lessons. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I've had a lot of suggestions. Like my students.
Right. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Shariah. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and
I
want to congratulate you on your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
And wish you the best going forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I think we need more of this. I think it's riches and we need more people doing what they're good at, because when you're good at something, you can be passionate about it, and you have the energy to put enough energy into it so you can, really make a difference in the world. So I don't think enough people realize that whatever they teach within their four walls, and that's not even just being a teacher. That's being a teacher, that's being a business person. This internet allows us the platform to let it amplify outside of those four walls. So, I think you're doing something really good. We'll always be here to help you. And if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, and have a good one. Hopefully we'll talk soon.
Yes, please.
Okay. Sounds good. Have a good day.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you guys for tuning in to the to HBCU Live. We haven't done this in a while. We just didn't feel like it was the right time with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and just a lot of stuff going on. And we're back at it. We're not back to normal, but we're still going to be putting more content out. And this is something that came out of quarantine that I think is going to be a staple in the HBCU grad content pillar. So thank you for tuning in. We'll have someone else on Thursday, and then we'll have someone else on Tuesday. So if you have anything that you want to ask us, please feel free to text us at 312-535-8511. And that's the best way to get in touch with us. And, just want to say thank you. I really enjoyed the HBCU grad community. It's something that, I really cherish, and I really put a lot of energy into. I probably put 100 hours into it every week. And, I really appreciate you guys. So check out Shariah, the Black-Matician. She knows her math. I checked out her YouTube channel. She's really, really awesome. And check out our website, hbcugraduates.com. We started dropping merch. So if you haven't ordered some from us, please do. We're sold out right now, but we have some more stuff coming Friday or Saturday. So thank you. I'm Todd Finley. I'm the founder of HBCU Grad. And hope you guys are holding up during this tough time. And we're in this together, and we're here for you. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. Thank you, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.